Welcome back. Now, we'll be looking at an example of how to improve relationships through self awareness. Let's explore a scenario. Before we do that, I think it would be ideal if I introduce myself again. My name is Damlare Olaniyon, a digital strategist with close to a decade experience working with top global organizations around the world. I have an executive MBA in strategic leadership and being a distinguished Toastmaster. There's the highest award recognizing leadership and communication skills from an institute with over 100 years of history. Today, we're continuing with the personal development course, Your Journey into Growth. And we're exploring an example of how to improve relationships through self awareness. Let's explore a scenario. Sarah realized through self reflection that she often interrupted others in conversations, stemming from her desire to be heard. This behavior strained her relationships with friends and family. So she had to do a deep reflection. Earlier in the course, if you're able to listen to the first video, we talked about self reflection. We talked about identifying your aspirations, identifying the areas of your life, and finding the area where you see a need for improvement. And Sarah had done that. So through self reflection, she discovered that she interrupts others a lot, was guilty of that. So let's look at what she did. Sarah consciously practiced active listening. Listening is a skill. Focusing on truly understanding what others were saying before responding. So she sought feedback from her loved ones on her communication style. And what was the outcome? As Sarah became more self aware and mindful of her communication habits, our relationships improved significantly. Our friends and family appreciated her genuine interest and attentiveness, leading to deeper connections. Scenario action outcome. Got plenty. So there could be a lot of scenarios you can explore through self-reflection. Do you struggle with time management? Do you struggle with speaking up when it matters? What do you struggle with? Then what are you going to do? How can you turn that into a personal development goal? So you can be the ideal version of yourself. Be like Sarah. So let's look at this video by Simon Sinek, which is actually very interesting personality in the space of these personal growth. Let's see what he has to say.
What role has reflection played in shaping your personal growth?
The ability to look at oneself critically, to say to oneself, you were good in that situation, you weren't good in that situation, you could have been better in that situation. Not to be overly critical, meaning you're always at fault if something goes badly, or not to be so filled with hubris that you think everything you did was fine and it's always the other person, but be able to sort of separate yourself, to look at the situation from as if you were the third party, evaluating it. When they do sales training, there's, it's always three people. One who pretends to be the salesman, one who pretends to be the customer, and one who observes. And then they all take turns, and the one who does the learning is the observer. So the question is, can you be your own observer? Like, can you replay a situation? And so self-reflection has been huge for me, and I've been huge into it for many, many, many years. The ability to say, okay, I can take some responsibility for the outcome of that, good or bad,
Yeah.
and I can learn to do that again, or learn to spot those situations and avoid them in the future.
Now, do you get what Simon Sinek said right there? So, now I'd like to mention something which is very critical from what Simon Sinek just shared with us. Is that sometimes people use self-reflection in quote into they turn into rumination. They just keep ruminating. Oh my God, I did that. I spoke angrily the other time. I wasn't perfect, in my test scores. I I'm very terrible when it comes to commitment. And instead of using self reflection as an opportunity, as a tool for personal growth, it becomes a tool for self punishment, which is quite bad. So, what you need to do is look at it from the perspective of what Sarah did. Scenario: I'm terrible with time management. Action: what can I do to become a better timekeeper? Okay, I need to start working with a to do list. I need to start being selective with my commitment so I don't overpromise and under deliver. I need to start getting early. So 15 minutes early is late, or 15 minutes early is on time. So when you start bringing all those tools, all those frameworks, become better at time management. So that's a way. And by doing that, people soon forget that you used to be so. Now they now begin to see you as someone who is excellent when it comes to time management. All right, moving on. Let's look at this case study: overcoming obstacles. The story of Malala Yousafzai. You must have heard about Malala. Malala, a Pakistani activist for female education, was shot by the Taliban for advocating for girls' rights to attend school. So that's the background, right? She was able to build a skill they called resilience. So despite facing life-threatening adversity, Malala remained steadfast in her commitment to education and continued to speak out against injustice. What's the impact of that? Malala's courage and unwavering determination to have inspired millions around the world, including me, and led to significant progress in promoting education for girls globally. She became the youngest Nobel Prize laureate. So you see how she was able to turn her background, her challenges she faced, right, into building resilience and building a movement around herself, leading to an impact of becoming the youngest Nobel Prize laureate. So let's go back to now. Let's identify your core values. So reflecting on your beliefs. That's the first step to identify your core values. Let me ask you, what are your core values? If you don't have the answers, that's fine. Because I'm about to show you how to uncover, how to unearth, how to discover your core values. The first one is to reflect on your beliefs. Consider what principles and ideals are most important to you. What do you stand for? What guides your decisions and actions? The second thing is identify your core values. Choose 5 to 7 core values that resonate deeply with you. These values should reflect your authentic self and shape your personal identity. If you don't have any ideas what these core values could be, you can just go online and search for a list of core values. So there you'll be able to look at the ones that resonate deeply with your authentic self. Then finally, the third aspect of this process is to prioritize your values. Rank your values in order of importance. This will help you make choices that align with your true self and lead a more fulfilling life. So let's look at this external reading. Most leaders know their strengths. In this HBR article, most leaders know their strengths. It explores the power of vulnerability, courage, and authenticity in personal growth and relationships. Discover how embracing vulnerability can lead to greater connection, resilience, and wholehearted living. I'd like to just check it out. Let's just have it for like a minute. I hope you enjoy the course. It's a very important course. So most leaders know their strengths, but are oblivious to their weaknesses. Let's just look at the let's read the summary. It says approximately 30% of leaders that have been studied have at least one fatal flaw. These are weaknesses that are so extreme that they can have a dramatic negative effect on a leader, seriously hampering their contribution to the organization and their career progress. Usually, everyone else can see this clearly, but the person with the fatal flaw almost never does. The reason most of us know our strengths because they result in observable outcomes. Our quick thinking saves a failing project. Our decisiveness resolves a crisis. But fatal flaws are usually sins of omission. It's the listening you did to, or the strategic vision it never occurred to you to describe. To figure out our fatal flaws, find a truth teller. Find someone in your group, in your family, in your company, in your society who can tell you the truth. Most likely someone that knows you very well. Whether it's a close friend, a coach, or a therapist, don't try to tackle it on your own. Alright. So let's look at the third topic, self-assessment techniques. Know thyself. Know thyself. So importance of self-assessment. Self-assessment provides valuable insight into your strengths, weaknesses, values, and beliefs, enabling you to take more informed decisions and pursue personal growth effectively. It fosters self-awareness and promotes continuous improvement. So what are the common techniques of self-assessments? And the common ones are the personality tests. There are a lot of personality tests right now online. Please I implore you to check them out. There's the Myers-Briggs test. There's the I think is it 160-degree personality test or something like that. So check all these things out. Search for personality tests. There are paid ones and free ones. It helps to identify, are you an INTP, are you an introvert, are you just check all these things out. It helps you to know yourself more than you currently know right now. There's a 360-degree feedback that you get from your colleagues. Let's say you're a leader. Getting 360 feedback helps you to understand your leadership style. You can give it to your peers, give it to your mentees, give it to even your leaders. So that way you get a comprehensive feedback about your leadership. And a SWOT analysis. SWOT is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You can check online for these tools, these self-assessment tools. They're free, and you use the template to fill out information about yourself, so you'll be able to come to a better understanding of who you are. Then there's journaling. I love to journal right now. In the past, I struggled with journaling, but journaling is very important because it gets you put expression to your thoughts. There's mindfulness practices. So each technique offers unique perspectives and insights into different aspects of yourself. So let's play this video. There's something about you, a weakness or a habit that if you don't work on it, might put you in bondage. So let's Can you see that? Funny but inspirational, right? He found it too, because of lack of self-evaluation. The two that was getting him to some spaces that were not supposed to be anyways now became a bondage. So what could have been a strength turned out to be a bondage, right? So that's why self-assessment is very important. If you are a strategy thinker, it is a strength, but if you're not careful, it can become a bondage because now you struggle with implementation, you struggle with planning. If you are detail oriented, it's very good to get things done, but if we're not careful about it, you realize that you're working on projects that are not important. You're being efficient on projects that have no strategic value. So always be doing this self-reflection using the tools that I mentioned earlier, like the SWOT analysis, the personality tests, and all, so that you are constantly at the edge of your ability without suffering, right, from the challenges or the implications of your weaknesses. So let's look at the Johari window for self-discovery. So he has 4 windows that we may need to explore. So we have the open self, hidden self, blind self, unknown self. The open self, aspects of yourself that are unknown, that are known. These are the open self, the aspects of yourself that are known to both you and others. This includes your behaviors, attitudes, and characteristics that are openly displayed. Then we have the hidden self, aspects of yourself that are known to you but not to others. This includes your private thoughts, feelings, and experiences that you choose to conceal. Then there's blind self, aspects of yourself that are known to others but not to you. This includes your blind spots, unconscious behaviors, and intentional aspects. The unintentional impact on others. So let me repeat that again. So your blind self are aspects of yourself that are known to others but not known to you. This includes your blind spots, your unconscious behaviors, and unintentional impacts on others. Then finally, we have the unknown self, aspects of yourself that are unknown to both you and others. This includes your untapped potential, undiscovered talent, and unconscious motives. This is an interesting framework of looking at self-discovery, the open self, the hidden self, the blind self, and the unknown self. So I think if I were you, I'll take time out to research more on this Johari window for self-discovery. So case study 3. The impact of emotional intelligence, Daniel Goleman's insight. So this is a pyramid that looks at emotional intelligence from 5 levels. We have the first level, which is social skills, building relationships. Now, before we look at that, so Daniel Goleman's research highlights the critical role of emotional intelligence, EQ, in personal and professional success. Emotional intelligence encompasses self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Cultivating these skills leads to improved communication, stronger relationships, and greater overall well-being. So let's look at the first level, which is social skills, building relationships. Second, that's first level. The next level is empathy, that's understanding others' emotions. The next level is motivation, driving yourself towards goals. Then we have self-regulation, managing your emotions. And finally, self-awareness as the highest, according to Daniel Goleman's insights on emotional intelligence. As the highest level you can be, as understanding your own emotions. You see, so if today you start journaling, if today you start understanding yourself through SWOT analysis and personal development tests, your personality test rather, you jump right to the top of the pyramid of self-awareness. So activity, let's do this together. Bring out a pen and a paper and let's see your SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So strengths, identify your unique talents. and advantages. What are you good at? What sets you apart from others? Are you good at communication? Are you good at leadership? Are you good at like logical thinking? Are you good at handwork? Are you good at what are you good at? What sets you apart from others? Are you good with combining colors in creative ways? And let's look at weaknesses. That's the second thing. The W in SWOT. Weaknesses. So acknowledge your areas for improvements. What do you struggle with? What limitations do you need to address? Then third, opportunities. Explore potential avenues for growth and development. What trends can you capitalize on? What resources are you available to you? Then threats. Anticipate challenges and obstacles that may hinder your progress. What risks do you need to mitigate? What competition do you face? So for external reading, you need to check out this book, Emotional Intelligence. It's a very big book. I don't have it right here, but get the book right now. Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. It tells you why it matters than IQ. You must have seen people with great IQ, great intelligence, and all, but struggle when it comes to dealing with people, when it comes to rising through the career ladder and all. It's because of issues with emotional intelligence. So I will implore you to kindly get this book. So moving on to topic 4, setting the stage for growth, actionable steps. So 4 steps towards setting the stage for growth, actionable steps. So first one is to define your vision. And the scripture says that my people perish because they lack vision, right? A lack of vision, right? So without vision, the people they will go in disarray. There was a time when a group of people were trying to build the longest or the tallest building in the world. They wanted to reach heaven, and they were able to do that, although they were eventually scattered. Why? Because they had a vision, a singular vision of achieving that. So create a clear picture of your desired future. What do you want to achieve? What kind of person do you want to become? Second thing, set specific goals. Establish smart goals that align with your vision. Break down large goals into smaller, manageable steps. So you have a big goal you want to achieve. You have a big identity you want to become. The next thing is to set smart goals with specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. That aligns with that vision. Then break that into smaller, manageable steps. What can I do in 1 month? If in 1 year I want to make $100,000, so by next month, how much do I want to make? $5,000. Okay. Month 2, how much? Month 3, how much? Then third step is to create an action plan, which is what I'm talking about right now. A detailed step-by-step plan outlining what you need to do to achieve your goals, which includes timelines, resources, and potential obstacles. Finally, but not the least, which is very important, take consistent action. Commit to taking action every single day, whether you like it or not. Even if it's just a small step, consistency is key to achieving lasting personal growth. So let me give an example of how to create a personal vision statement, because it's very important. Now, to create a personal vision statement, everyone has to have a personal vision statement. You need to reflect on your values. Consider what principles and ideals are most important to you. What do you stand for? What guides your decisions and actions? What guides your decisions? If someone says, hey, let's steal, what do you say? No. Okay, why are you saying no? Why do you say no? Are you trying to protect your reputation? Are you trying to protect your personal integrity? Are you trying to not do harm to others? Why are you saying no? So you need to understand the core, the fundamental belief system, the ideals that you stand for. What guides your decisions and actions? The next thing is to identify your aspirations. What do you want to achieve in various aspects of your life, such as career, relationships, health, and personal growth? Finally, craft a statement. Write a concise and inspiring statement that captures your vision for the future. Use strong verbs and vivid language to paint a clear picture of your desired outcome. Something that elicits emotion, that inspires you, right? Use those verbs. So let's start case study 4. Transforming habits using Charles Duhigg's The Power of Habit. So Charles Duhigg wrote a book called The Power of Habit. It explores the science behind habit formation and offers practical strategies for changing unwanted habits. By understanding the habit loop, you can identify the cues and rewards that drive behaviors and replace negative habits with positive ones. So let's look at it. So like cue. So first, cue is the trigger that initiates the behavior. So any behavior you currently have right now, there's something that triggers it. So if you get angry easily, something triggers you to be angry. What is that? This is the tonality of the other person's argument, or is it the kind of words they use that triggers the anger in you? You need to find that out. The second thing is routines. When there's a trigger, that's behavior itself. Then there's something you do. You shout, you get angry, your face gets flustered. So that's the routine. That's the behavior itself. It can be physical, it can be mental, it can be emotional. Then there's reward. That's a positive reinforcement that satisfies the craving and reinforces the habit loop. So after you get angry, what do you feel? You feel happy or you feel bad? And so that's the reward. That's the reward you get for acting in certain manner, acting in alignment with the trigger. So let's look at something now. So now let's look at this now. So if you want to transform your habits, what you realize is that you can't really change the cue. Cue is the trigger. You can't, for instance, if someone shout at you can't control them. You can't tell them you can shout, because then that they not they can shout now. You will say, never in the history of mankind has anyone calmed down after being told to calm down. They get it. Never in the history of mankind has anyone calmed down because they've been told to calm down. So you can't really change the trigger. You can't change people's reaction to things. You can't change people's behavior, but you can change yours. So what you can do is you tell yourself, when this happens, instead of doing XYZ, I'm going to do ABC. So when someone shouts at me, instead of me responding with fists and anger, I'm going to take a deep breath. Pause for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Empathize. Okay. Why is this person saying this? Then use a non-violent communication framework. So it's called empathy, right? You can say, I understand that you feel this way. Then you communicate. So that way you just disarm the person. So that's just one way to go about it. So let's say you procrastinate a lot. So something happens. Maybe you feel that the intensity of the task is overwhelming, so you postpone it to a time when you feel like energized to do that, right? The next time you have an assignment to do, you don't procrastinate because you feel like, oh, it's novel or it's overwhelming or whatever it is. Instead, you say, you know what? I'm going to start small. Then I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to start small. So by just changing your routine, you change your habits. This is a very interesting and powerful framework that Charles Duhigg has blessed the world with when it comes to power of habits, understanding the cue, the routine, and the reward, CRR. Something I think you need to take some time off to understand fully on your own. Like if you have a habit, a bad habit, or any habit you feel like I need to work on, then check out Charles Duhigg's The Power of Habit. Very informative, very transformative, very practical, and most importantly, very effective. Cue, routine, and reward. So if I were you, I look at the current habit, whether good or bad. I look at what are the cues, what informs this habit. When I'm bored, did I just open my phone and unlock my phone, then just go to Facebook.com or go to Twitter.com or go to LinkedIn.com and start scrolling? People call it doom scrolling. Or when I'm bored, do I just open Spotify and play music? Or do I open Apple Podcast and listen to podcasts? Or do I open my mobile app and read a book? Or do I call a loved one? So what I do when I'm bored, right? That's the it lists out the cue: boredom, excitement, delay, whatever it is, right? Then lists out the routine: social media scrolling, long hours on phone calls, or whatever it is. Then what is the reward? What do I feel? I feel a dopamine hit in my brain. I feel happy. I feel whatever it is. So by changing the routine, you change the reward itself. You change the habit itself. So look at this and look at how you can transform your habits using the Charles Duhigg's framework of cue, routine, and reward. So the next session, we're going to be looking at designing your personal action plan. Your personal action plan. So stay tuned.